Hello friends, myself Vidyalata Patil from Swedish College of Engineering, Pandharpur. In today's session, let us have some introduction about some of the concepts from number theory, where we are going to discuss about divisibility, division algorithm, then GCD and Euclidean algorithm. So let us first see what is meant by divisibility. Now suppose we have two numbers, that is B and A. Then we say that a non-zero number B divides A if A is equal to M times B for some M, where A, B and M all are the integers. That is, B divides A if there is no any remainder on division. So, for example, we can take it as a, if we have B is equal to 2 and A is equal to 8, then we get, after this division, there is no any remainder. So that means we can represent A, that is equal to 4 times of 2. So here, as there is no any remainder and all these are the integers, so we can say that B divides A, or here in this example we can say that 2 divides 8. So the notation B, vertical line A, that is commonly used to mean B divides A. Also, if B divides A, we say that B is a divisor of A. So, if we see the examples of this, then the positive divisor of 24 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. All these are the divisors of 24. Also, we can say that 13 divides 182, then also minus 5 divides 30, 17 divides 289, then minus 3 divides 33, or 17 divides 0. So all these are the examples of division, where in all cases remainder is 0. Now if we take another example, that is 2 divides any another number, that is 15. Now in this case, we are not getting remainder, that is equal to 0. Actually, after division we get answer that is equal to 7.5. So that means it is not an integer. So here we cannot say that 2 divides 15. So now let us see about properties of divisibility. So the first property of divisibility is, if A divides 1, then A is equal to plus or minus 1. If A divides B and B divides A, then A is equal to plus or minus B. This is the another property of divisibility. Also, if any B that is not equal to 0, then it divides to 0. Also, if A divides B and B divides C, then A divides C. So for this we will have one example. Now as we know that 11 divides 66 and 66 divides 198. So in both these cases remainder is equal to 0, and therefore we can now say that 11 divides 198. So here 198 can be represented in the multiplication form as it is 11 multiplied by 8. Another property of divisibility, that is if B divides G and B divides H, then B divides Mg plus N for arbitrary integers M and N. So we can prove this as if B divides G, then we can represent G in the form of G is equal to B into G1 for some integer G1. Also, if B divides H, that means we can write H in the form of H is equal to B into H1 for some integer H1. So we can write then Mg plus Nh, that is equal to M into Bg1 plus N into Bh1. So if we take B common from this equation, then we can write this as a B multiplied by, in the bracket, Mg1 plus Nh1. So we can now, if we divide this number by B, then we will get remainder that is equal to 0. That means here we can say that B is divides Mg plus Nh. Now let us have one example for this. let us have B equal to 7, G equal to 14, H equal to 63, then M and N that are equal to 3 and 2 respectively. So now in this case B divides G, that means 7 divides 14, then B also divides H, so 7 divides 63. Now we want to show that 7 divides 3 multiplied by 14 plus 2 multiplied by 63 also. So for that, now as we have 3 into 14 plus 2 into 63, that is equal to 7. In the bracket 3 multiplied by 2 plus 2 multiplied by 9. So that means here from this equation it is obvious that 7 divides 7 in the bracket 3 multiplied by 2 plus 2 multiplied by 9, and that is why we can say that B divides Mg plus Nh. Now let us discuss about division algorithm. So suppose given any positive integer n and any non-negative integer p. If we divide a by n, then we get an integer quotient of q and an integer remainder r that obey the relationship as a is equal to qn plus r, where 0 is less than or equal to r less than n. So this equation is referred as a division algorithm. Now let us have one example that n is equal to 29 and a is equal to 295. So then we can write 295, that is equal to 10 multiplied by 29 plus 5. So that will be equal to 295. So in this case q will be equal to 10 and r that is equal to 5. So here this 5r that is less than 29 and it is greater than 0. So let us have some demonstration regarding the relationship between the earlier equation. So that means where we are saying that a is equal to qn plus r. So as we know that given a and the positive n, it is always possible to find q and r that satisfy the relationship, that is a is equal to qn plus r. So here we are considering the number line where these integers can be represented. So a will fall somewhere on that line. The positive a is shown here. A similar demonstration can be made for negative a also, but now here in this case we have shown positive a. So this a will lie on somewhere on this number line, and then if we start from 0 proceeding to n, then on the number line there will be n, after that 2n, then 3n, up to qn we can proceed. Okay. So here qn it will be less than or equal to a, and q plus 1n that will be greater than a. So the distance from qn to a, that is r, and we have found the unique values of q and r. So the remainder r is often referred as a residue in the division. So let us have one example where n is equal to 70 and a is equal to a is equal to 70 and n is equal to 50. So number line we have 70 present at this location, okay, and then we are starting from 0 and proceed with 50, then 2n that means 30, then 3n that is a 45, 4n that is a 60, and 5n that is a 75. So here this 60, that means 4 times of n that lies before 70, while 5 times 15 that lies after 70. So the difference between 4n and 70, that is A, that is of a 10. So we can represent 70, that is equal to 4 into 15 plus 10, where 10 is the remainder or residue in this division and 4 is the quotient. Now here remember that residue will be always positive, that is remainder will be always positive. Now let us take one more example. Let us say that A is equal to 11, N is equal to 7, then we can write 11 as a 1 into 7 plus 4. That means R is equal to 4 and Q is equal to 1. Now here another example is that A is equal to minus 11 and N is equal to 7. So now it is A is a negative number while N, that will be always a positive number. So now while representing this number, we have to write it as a minus 11, that is equal to minus 2 multiplied by 7 plus 3. So in this case R will be equal to 3 while quotient Q, that is equal to minus 2. So you can perform this by demonstrating this or by representing these numbers on a number line. So you can practice for more number of examples so that you can get this idea clear regarding the division algorithm. Now let us see what is meant by GCD, that is a greatest common divisor. So if any two numbers are given, then the largest number which can divide both numbers, that is A and B, that is called as a GCD. So this is the common problem in number theory. So we can say that suppose 60 and 24, these are the two numbers that are given, then greatest common divisor of this is equal to 12. So to find out this GCD, we need to factorize these two numbers and then from that we have to calculate the greatest common divisor of these two numbers. Now suppose if these two numbers have no common factors except one, then we call these numbers as a relatively prime numbers. That means now if we take examples of 8 and 15, both are not actually prime numbers, but if we want to calculate GCD of these two numbers, then the GCD of this is a 1. That means there is no any other factor, common factor for these two numbers, and that is why we call 8 and 15 are relatively prime numbers. So recalling again, GCD is the positive integer which is the greatest common divisor of A and B if C is a divisor of A and A is a divisor of B, and also any divisor of A and B is a divisor of C. So again, the positive integer C is said to be the greatest common divisor of A and B if C is a divisor of A, and any divisor of A and B is a divisor of C. An equivalent definition is the GCD of A, comma B is equal to maximum of K such that K is divisor of A and K is divisor of B. Because we require that the greatest common divisor should be positive. So GCD of A comma B, that is equal to GCD of A comma minus B. Also it is equal to GCD of minus A comma B. Also GCD of minus A comma minus B, and so in general we can say that GCD of A comma B is equal to GCD of mod A comma mod B. So now we discuss about finding the greatest common divisor, and for that we are going to discuss about one algorithm which was credited to Euclid. So this is the simplest way to find out the greatest common divisor. So here we can describe this algorithm in such a way that suppose we have integers a comma b such that d is equal to GCD of a comma b. So because GCD of mod a comma mod b, that is equal to GCD of a comma b, so there is no harm in assuming that a is greater than or equal to b or greater than 0. So here we are assuming that a is greater than b. Now suppose we are dividing a by b. So applying the division algorithm here, we can write this as a is equal to q1 into b plus r1. So q1 in this case, that will be quotient when we are dividing a by b, and r1 that is equal to remainder. Now suppose in this equation, if we get r1 that is a remainder that is equal to 0, then we can say that b is a GCD of a comma b. But if it is not the case, then we go for the next calculation, and that we are going to discuss. So to find the greatest common divisor, first of all we are going to use a division algorithm where we want to find out that GCD of a and b. Now we are assuming that a is greater than b, and that is why we are dividing a by b. So here by the division algorithm we will get the first equation, that is a is equal to q1 into b plus r1, where 0 is less than r1 less than b. Now here if r1 is not equal to 0, that means we can go for the next step where we are going to divide b by r1. So we get b that is equal to q2 into r1 plus r2, where 0 is less than r2 less than r1. So now what we have done, we have divided b by r1. Then again if r2 is not equal to 0, then we can further calculate r1 that is equal to q3 into r2 plus r3. So here again 0 is less than r3 less than r2. So we can do so many such a calculation in such a way that residue or remainder that will become 0, and then we can say that this d that is equal to GCD of a comma b, that is equal to Rn, where now here in this iteration or in this calculation we are getting Rn minus 1 that is equal to Qn plus 1 into Rn plus 0. So here in this stage we are getting remainder that is equal to 0, and that is why GCD of a comma b that is equal to Rn. Thus method of finding GCD in this way, that is called as a Euclidean algorithm. Thus this Euclidean algorithm is an efficient way to find the GCD of a and b. The Euclidean algorithm that is derived from the observation that if a and b have a common factor d, that is a is equal to m into d and b is equal to n into d, then d is also a factor in any difference between them. So Euclid's algorithm keeps computing successive differences until it vanishes, at which point the greatest common divisor has been reached. So we can write this Euclidean algorithm to compute GCD of a comma b ism. If we want to find out this Euclid a comma b, then the first step that will be, we are going to assign a that is equal to a capital A, and B that is assigned to capital B. Now if B is equal to 0, then return A equal to GCD of A comma B. If R is equal to A mod B, then A is equal to B and B is equal to R, then go to R. So what we are doing here, we have two numbers A and B. So we are assigning these two numbers to capital A and capital B. And after that we are calculating residue of after division of A and B. That means we are dividing A by B and then we will find out R. Now after this calculation we are assigning A that is equal to B and R will be assigned to B. So now after that it will be checked whether B is equal to 0 or not. If B is equal to 0, then we will say that A, that means now it has the value of B, that is the GCD of A comma B. Otherwise we are again going to calculate this till we get B is equal to 0. So now let us take example of where we want to find out GCD of 1970 and 1066. So here the number 1970 is greater than 1066. So we are starting from dividing 1970 with 1066 and finding the remainder. So we can represent 1970, that is equal to 1 multiplied by 1066 plus 904. Now here as residue that is not equal to 0, so now we are considering 1066 divided by 4. So here we get 1066, that will be represented as 1 into 904 plus 162. Again as the remainder is not 0, so we are representing 904 is equal to 5 into 162 plus 94. Again the remainder is 94, so we are going to divide this by this 94 to 162. So 162, that is equal to 1 into 94 plus 68. Again 94 will be divided by 68. So 94 is equal to 1 into 68 plus 26. Now 68, that is equal to 2 into 26 plus 16. Again remainder is not 0. So 26, that is equal to 1 into 16 plus 10. Then after that 16, that is equal to 1 into 10 plus 6. As the remainder is not 0, so 10, that is equal to 1 into 6 plus 4. Still we need to do calculation. So 6, that is equal to 1 into 4 plus 2, and then 4, that is equal to 2 into 2 plus 0. So now in this calculation we get remainder that is equal to 0, and that means 2 is the GCD of 1970 and 1066. So you can practice for more examples so that you can have the idea regarding how to find out a GCD of two numbers using Euclidean algorithm.